Let's see a few more examples of list comprehension. So this one is surprisingly easy. We want to put this little inside list, 0, 1, 2. We want to put 8 copies of that into an outside list. So let me just keep calling these my list. And then we're going to say put 0, 1, 2, the thing I want to go into the list, for I in range 8. And we're never actually using this I, and so one I is fine, but one common convention to use is to use an underscore to just say, okay, I'm never going to use that variable, so I'm just putting an underscore there. And then let's check how this my list looks. Okay, so here we've made this length 8 list, and each element in the length 8 list is this little length 3 list, 0, 1, 2. And just to make this more math 10 appropriate, let's go ahead and convert this thing that looks a little like a pandas data frame. Let's convert it into a pandas data frame. So I have to import pandas as PD. And then I'm going to wrap my list inside of pd.dataframe. So this is just like wrapping it in a tuple. For example, if I replace this with tuple, that would tell Python, try to convert my list into a tuple. Here I'm wrapping it in pd.dataframe. So I'm telling Python, try to convert this list of lists here into a pandas data frame. Okay, and each of these inside lists becomes one row in our data frame. Okay, here is a more difficult example. And I want to make the length 24 list 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2 with that triple repeated 8 times. So it's like the flattened version of this list. Okay, it's like this if I removed all of these inside brackets. So let me show you how to do this first using nested for loops, not list comprehension. So we'll call this my list again. And then I'll say, so I want to do something 8 times. So for I in range 8. Okay, and then I want to do something 3 times for each of those 8 iterations. So for j in range 3. And then my list, not append. And then what variable do I want to put into my list? Well, I want to put the variable that's going from 0 up to 2. And this j is going 0 up to 2. Okay, and then let's leave the for loop by unindenting and display my list. Okay, great. And so let's see what is the list comprehension way of doing this. And so the thing that's going to go into the list is, I'll call it j, so it matches what we have up here because j was going into the list. And now it's nice because it follows the exact same pattern as these nested for loops here. So I can say for I in range 8, for j in range 3. And it's difficult to come up with this on your own. It's best just to like try it with whatever you understand better, like maybe these nested for loops, and then see how that gets translated into this list comprehension way. So this part here, it is basically exactly the same, just all on one line and without the colons, as this part here. And this j, that is the exact same as this mylist.append j that shows up there. And there we get the same length 24 list. Okay, and just for fun, let's see an example using a string. So let me call this, how about DESC for description. And if you want to have a long string that maybe has line breaks in it, it's good to use triple apostrophes as opposed to the usual single apostrophes or double apostrophes or double quotes. So this one doesn't have any line breaks, but let me go ahead and put a line break into it so it's easier to read. And I see I lost this I in introduction, so I'll put it back in. So if you try to do this with, for example, double quotes, okay, I get this error here. But if I try it with triple apostrophes, then Python will be fine with that. Okay, and so this is going to be the thing we want to iterate over, but let me show you what happens if we do, for example, C for C in description. So what that does is it iterates through not every word in this description, but it iterates through every letter in this description, which is not what we want. So I need some way of iterating through all the words in this description. And one way to do that is to use the split string method. So description.split. And you can put anything you want inside of the parentheses, and then Python will split it at whatever you put inside here. But instead, I just want to split at white space. Okay, things like spaces or line breaks. So that's the default, so I'm just going to leave this blank. Okay, so this makes a list, a fairly long list of the individual words. And that's exactly what we want to iterate over. So now let's call it, how about word for word in description.split. And so that gets us the exact same list here. But what I want to do is I want to capitalize each of these. So I'm going to call the string capitalize method. Okay, so now notice how all of these words are capitalized. But this isn't quite what I want, because I want to have a string at the end. I don't want to have a list. And so I want to do the reverse of this split. And so let me show you how that works. I can say, just as an example, let me show you Christopher dot join, okay, and then this list we produced up above. So now we have every word from our original list, and then they're connected with this word Christopher in between them. Okay, so this 2 was the next word in the list, and then a Christopher. Then this Python was the next word, and then another Christopher, and so on. Okay, but obviously Christopher isn't what we want. Instead, we want to have a space. Okay, so now we have the same catalog description, but with every word in it capitalized. Okay, so that was just an example of, instead of iterating over a list or a range object, here, well, I guess here we were still iterating over a list, but the list was coming from a string. Okay, that's where I'll stop this video. Thank you for watching.